Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my team preview for fantasy for round 24, going through how my team is as complete as it obviously will be because this is the last round, how I'm pretty happy with what I have done. There was only a trade a couple of weeks back involving the Doherty trade. I mean, not the Doherty, the Cornelio instead of Doherty trade, which has sort of come back and bite me a little bit as I've had to stick with Jackson just due to the games, etc., and the timing. I can't loop, and Jackson is there instead of what would have been Cornelio probably if I had gotten those trades right, as I wouldn't have traded out Cornelio given his performance last week against the Bombers. But anyhow, that's in the past, I guess, and something to learn on. But before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, I usually go through each and every position being like this is the player, etc. But I think it's best to showcase and go through how my team could change depending on what I do with it. So if I just go through these, Dawson, Sicily, Newman, Sinclair, Stewart, Sheasel are all going to be there. Bont, Merritt, Parrish, Crouch, Petrarca. Petrarca might not be. Trelaw will be. Steele will be. Crouch was a potential out. So was one of Merritt or Parrish. But they're staying in there. English, Marshall staying there. Goulden, Rosie, Butters comes into the side at the moment. Taranto, Dunkley, and then Jackson also stays in the side, I'm pretty sure, as there is no way of really getting him out. As I don't think there is a way to get him out. And also, if I want to get Laird, I got to get rid of Brayshaw. As I can't really do it with anyone else, and Brayshaw was to avoid the tag potential that McGuinness has, and I think that is a smart trade in the end, so that's why it's the one that pops up at the start of this video, obviously, but we're going to go through the other trades. So Doherty to Butters, I think, is the best trade, because you do have this. As Doherty is out, I can flip Sheasel into the back line, as I've done, as you can see up here. Sheasel is in the back line, actually goes to D6, which is, yeah, that's fine. That's sorted, etc. Newman actually up to D2, almost D1. But then you see that's all good. We get Butters into the forward line, which I think is a good call. I almost went Flanders, but I don't think Flanders has that ability to go absolutely nuts. And so that's why I went for Butters, who has the ability with Rosie to go 130 plus. Especially against the Tigers. Some people have even put a cheeky vice captaincy on him. I won't, or captain on him, but I think that is way too risky when you have this Adelaide matchup with the potential for Laird or Dawson to go 170, honestly, in that. And you've also got the Gold Coast matchup, which I'm trying to attack, but I don't think I can actually attack with the players that I get in. And then obviously Laird and Brayshaw, them swapping around, that is just to attack that West Coast matchup. But if I reverse that trade, you see we get to this position with a trade available, and obviously I could get Jackson up to someone like a Cogs and finish off the team like that, but then I feel like I'm giving up a lot of points to the Brayshaw tag, etc., that is potentially going to come from Finn McGuinness. You could look with 197k, you could look at Windhager. For me, I could look at Windhager and go, okay, how can I get Windhager to someone good? Let's look at players I can afford. Noah Anderson, Kelly. So Noah Anderson targeting that matchup against North Melbourne. If we look at Noah Anderson against North, he went 102. Don't really like his absolute top end scoring potential. I like his average. But I don't like his top end ability to go 130 plus. He has a 159, but outside of that, it's a 134, a 123, and then 110. So I don't think there's really that upper echelon of really scoring. Tim Kelly's actually come on pretty well. If we look at last three, you got Amond here, but he's a pure mid, which sort of sucks. If he was a defender, you could look at that. Newcomb went nuts in the last game, but has St Kilda had that St Kilda game 71 in his last 3, so I think he is just riding high off that game. You got Pendlebury, but there's a sub risk there. If they know that they're going to win and clinch top spot, they might sub Pendles off. Wood, Crouch could be a go, but I think I don't really see that top scoring from Crouch, that like 130 that I'm really trying to target here, because there's one round you're just trying to get that 130 scorer in, because there will be a 130 scorer in from guys at the premiums. You could look at Hewitt, but then again, he hasn't gone absolutely nuts as well. I wish I'd gotten Hewitt in a couple rounds ago. He has GWS. GWS earlier on in the season, he played the full game and got a 72, so not really looking favourable, that one. And there's no one here that's really looking favourable, to be honest. So that's why I've sort of gone with the Rory Laird. I mean, if we swap this trade around, if we swap this one around and I go for Flanders, because that is attacking that matchup, you'll see that gives me 265k. And then if I go over here and I go Windhager, if I go Windhager here and I go out and I go midfielders, players I can afford, I am literally, I think 1k off of Tom Green, and that would have been perfect. Actually, now looking at it, that kind of sucks. But so be it. If I look at, players I can afford, last 3, you got Butters in there as well, obviously, as that would just be... Actually, now looking at that, let's just look at this. Right, let's look at this and just think, okay, you got Jackson as a substitute in there. You don't get that big score. The problem with this variation is if I do this correctly here, I bring that in, then obviously I've got Luke Jackson, but I really want to be able to, I guess, attack this, and I also have to use Euland off the bench if I do get a good captaincy score, but I can do that quite easily as Carlton have the last game, etc. And when do Geelong play? Geelong play here, which will be after my captain plays. Rowan Marshall plays there, so yeah, I can mess around with this. I can even use Adelaide play a little bit later. So if I do want the captaincy, I'm just messing this around for captaincy's sake, I'll put the emergency on ballless, as that gives me more time to flick ballless out of there and onto my if I go over here, I actually am a little bit stuck. I lose that maneuverability, to be honest with you. So this is actually, I cannot do that variation there. So if I do edit this trade, Flanders, and I put in just a Laird or something like that, hopefully it works, so I don't have to... Let me fix this around. If I go over here, edit this trade, and go Laird, will this fix it for me? Okay, it invalidates. Then I gotta reverse this. Then I gotta go, who was it again? I gotta go Brayshaw, yeah. So that the combos here just don't seem to be lining up for me at the moment. I wish I could have got, I wish I hadn't stuffed that up. I mean, if Liver had played, it would have... There was just a couple of key trades that I think I stuffed up in the long run, I guess, which has really screwed or messed me up and not allowed me to get the complete team that I wanted to. I mean, Windhager sitting on the bench, I had plans for about the last 2 months or so for getting him off and getting him up to a Miller or a Laird for this last round, and I just haven't been able to do it. So basically this comes down to, do I think Flanders or Laird is going to score more? If I go over here and go over to... Not Flanders or Laird, sorry. If I want Flanders or Butters, and that is the real choice, is do I think Flanders or Butters is going to score more? And the thing with me is I actually think that... that Flanders won't score more, just because I don't like his non-CBAs. And also I think that if I get Butters, then it at least leaves me less vulnerable with compared to the competition, as he is 29% owned. And also it means that I'm basically just, there's a couple of guys here like Trelaw, Petrarca, Steele isn't really that bad, Crouch as well, and Parrish. So a lot of my guys actually aren't, too highly owned. Bont and Laird at 35 are mostly owned, but a lot of them I'm relying on 15-16% owned guys to go nuts. And so really just hoping on those guys. The forwards are going to be, it's just down to Jackson and Flanders basically, and Cogs, and whoever scores more out of that is going to have a better round. And then Dawson is so highly owned. Nick Newman is a pod, I guess, to a certain extent. Sicily is highly owned. Sinclair highly owned. Stewart is still highly owned to a relative degree, as well as Sheasel. Now actually thinking about that, looking at the defenders and looking at last three, and this is where that strategy of trying to find, I guess, another defender or someone else that isn't in the forward line really falls apart. As if we look at midfielders, you have basically Tom Green, who, if I could replace Petrarca with Tom Green, that's what I would have been rather doing, or something like that, or having Tom Green off the bench, as that would have been probably the best thing. But also this variation of my team with Jackson in there, as well as getting Laird, allows me to do that flick around that I was talking about 5 minutes ago. Will it let me? Okay, I have to do it the long way. Whereas if Marshall goes, that does work. Sorry, I was just thinking about Windhager. As a matter of fact, I can do this, and then if Marshall goes large, and I want his VC, I move Yuland on field for either Windhager, if Windhager scores large enough, or if Windhager does not score large enough and I don't want Windhager's score, then I move him into the back line for Borlas, and then I switch him on field for a Nick Newman, and I emergency Nick Newman, because that will do, that'll score. And let me just replicate that process here. Swap you two around and then do that, and you'll see Yuland will have the captaincy, or will be a non-player in the 22, depending on whether I want Windhager or Newman or Royal Marshall's VC score to double up. That is basically the thoughts behind it. You could argue that I do want Borlas to also be there as well, just in case I don't want to take Nick. If I don't want to take Marshall's score as well, there is that chance that I might want to look at Borlas, and if Borlas scores well, Yuland plays on the Saturday. Wow, that throws that in the air as well. So that means that I have no way of actually taking his score. Great. I have no way of taking any of the captain scores, because I've got Yuland playing on Yuland plays on the Saturday afternoon. So discard everything I said in the last about 4 minutes, because it doesn't mean anything. And Windhager's score cannot be taken at all, as my three red dots are Hawks, North, Gold Coast. Now, if we look at this, Hawks, North, Gold Coast, they all play the Saturday 1:45. So do I just have a stab in the dark at an Essendon player like Merritt or Parrish, as they are the only two Essendon or Collingwood guys that I have, and it won't really matter about anyone else, I guess. So I guess Merritt gets the VC, or do we go Parrish? I've just been screwed over by the red dots, I guess. Why has Banks come back in? Why couldn't Banks be out? That would have helped massively. So can Banks get? If we look back at the AFL teams, can Banks get just taken off? You know, he's in the starting 22 for some dumb reason. Can he just get taken down, please? Yeah, he's in the starting 22, I believe, as a wingman. Can you play Jack Graham and put him off the field, please? Because, you know, I would like to see Banks have a red dot, because the red dot 2 hours before kickoff would actually help me dramatically. But yeah, I've been utterly screwed over. So it's either Merritt or Parrish, or hope that Banks or Mullins or Borlas or Williams or someone on my bench decides not to turn up. Don't turn up. Get a red dot. It's the end of the season, you know. It's the extra game. You're only supposed to play 22 games anyway. But yeah, no, I've been absolutely screwed out of a pretty good attacking the West Coast and North Melbourne games with VCs and captains, because of, again, for the second week running, guys just not being the guys not available. My red dots being early in the week, early in the game week. So yeah, that's kind of annoying, but we'll roll with it. We will captain Merritt or Parrish will be my captain. Will be my VC. I reckon 95% certain those two will be my VC. The only one I could see dropping out is Banks. And then you've got, I don't think Mullins will drop out. Maybe Mullins will drop out, because you'll see, but then again, Scott might pull a late one, but I don't think he will. But we'll wait and see on that one. I'm just trying to bring up potentially Richmond's page, just their Twitter, just to see if they did announce that. So they've got 2 to debut, but they've got Banks on the field. So yeah, that sucks. We got a defender playing in round. And then you've got, let's see, please say there's a wingman. Please, rebounding defender again. So that doesn't help. Let's see the Richmond thing. So you got that, talented Bauer, etc. Mansell, Banks could also be recalled into the final lineup following their computation. So it doesn't look confirmed. Okay, that's better. It's confirmed in an hour and 20 odd minutes, but it's better now. Just looking at that. Yes, this video was going on, but just had to double check. Banks is a potential out, and I hope that he is out, because Banks being out means that I don't have to VC Merritt or Parrish, can VC Marshall into Laird / Dawson, but you pretty much have, it's either Merritt or Parrish as VC, or Marshall, if Banks is out. And then also, that Banks out can also apply the same principles that I was talking about with Hewland. So if Banks is out, you can now actually regard again the 10 minutes or 14 minute range where I was talking about that with Banks, as I just do it again here. If I do something like he's on he needs to go to the utility. I won't do it, but you guys can rewind the video and go through that again. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm praying that Banks is not there. This video has gone on for a while, but I mean, I was just trying. Not a little bit of frustration, but yeah, just a little bit annoying that Banks is named at least on field, but hopefully that gets changed and he's on and he's out of the squad and he isn't named as the emergency, and hopefully he's named in the VFL, as that will really help. But I think Richmond might not have a VFL game, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm just hoping that Banks doesn't play, as Banks not playing can help my week out a lot. But that is the video. The next video will be the game recap, probably, and then also probably going through and drafting my first AFLW fantasy side. I already have it drafted, but I'm probably gonna draft it with you guys with absolutely no knowledge, and you're probably going to slaughter me in the comments, but that'll be a fun video. And then there'll be other fun stuff once we get through the AFL season. I mean, I only really have tipping, but I'll flip over to the AFL Fantasy, and then also I'll probably have some other AFL videos regarding like draft and etc. like that when that comes closer later on in the year. But there's the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Goodbye.